What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hope you guys are ready to go. It's one of those weird like weeks where it's the beginning of a week, and then you got 2 more days lingering from September. Kind of like it when it starts a brand new month, brand new week, but this is the case. So still got a little bit of momentum, so we'll see what happens in the last 2 days. See how this monthly candle on SPY would like to look. So far, providing nothing crazy happens, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months in a row all green. And we'll see if we can hang into that. I don't know. We got Al in the house, though. I do know that. Good morning to you. Good morning to Amy, Andy, Bill, Christopher, Cindy, Emily, Helen's in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Joe, John, Keith, Lucian, Marius, Martina, Mike, Nikki's in the house. We got a lot of new faces. We got Ray. Good morning to you. Good morning to Russ, Steve, Tiflo, Tim, Virginia, all my people out in YouTube Lynn, Wade. I have not seen you in a minute, Wade. How are you? All my lurkers in the background of YouTube. I'm just not gonna say nothing all day. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. But whew, a little bit of a gap up. So we got some element of retest from Friday. We do have a potential government shutdown. I think the paperwork's got to be in by October 31st. So tomorrow or to October 30th. What's today? Today is the 29th. Last day of the month is the 30th, so by tomorrow, to avoid a government shutdown, market doesn't seem too scared. I don't know. We've I feel like in the past we've had some scarier talks where they pump it a little bit more. I don't know if it's just much more things going on right now where that's hasn't really been the lead focus story. But nonetheless, market is gapping into it, and we'll see what happens. Otherwise, for today, if we do get a little bit of a pullback, first spot I'm watching for on the SPY 663.08 to the higher side. You do have resistance not too far away, 666.92, and then nothing. I got no levels above it. If we do break down that first little support at 663. A full-on retest from Friday would take us into the 661.57. Other than that, providing that we do not get and I think we're probably a little bit past the point of potential head and shoulders. If we actually gap up here, I think that would be a little bit more of a higher low than I would think. I would think that kind of failed this candle. So this would have had to be a gap down, I think, and that would get us that little bit of head and shoulders look. So that might be out of the question. I guess the technically it's still there potentially if we roll over. But this is going to be a big support or resistance for today. So and probably tomorrow too. If we can start taking out the 666.92 zone, I think then this does indeed look like a really good retest of that high volume indecision candle. As we made that push up higher, we never really retested it. So that candle from Thursday was the retest, and bulls just out of their minds, buying everything up once again. So we'll see. Emily, what's happening? We got Q's. Looks very similar to SPY at the moment. Nice little gap up. You do have two levels of resistance on SPY, so on Q, so that's a little bit different than the SPY where we just got the one. But first level of resistance 601 flat, and then you got 602.41 would be your bigger one. If we could get any closing this week, sometime past that, that would look decent. Again, what would we count? 5 months in a row bullish in the markets. Kind of crazy. No red candles on the SPY, and I don't think any red candles on a monthly. Look at that monthly candle on Q's. You'd have to have a really bad day today, a really bad day tomorrow to flip this thing to red. Anything is possible, but even now we'll retest next month where people start to panic. I mean, coming down on a monthly basis down to like this 570 level. That gives you about a 29, almost a $30 move that we could pull back, and it's just kind of a retrace into a breakout spot on the Qs. So kind of wild. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be a 6 month in a row bullish on Qs. And yeah, we'll see what happens from here. Right now, it does look good. Again, be careful. At some point, there is that little element of And I'm not sure if it's right out of the gate, but you're opening a little bit close to resistance than you are to the support. So you have some room down. This could be a retest today, and then we don't have to actually close green. But to me, the sentiment still looks to the bullish side. BTC, USD, which was on the verge of huge, huge, huge little support that had to hold. Right now, that looks like a there was your first retest there. We broke. Told us that the Bulls were back in charge as long as that this doesn't break down. That was your perfect retest into that. Still hanging out. Next resistance on, but it did have a good candle yesterday. Sunday. Nice move. Getting us further away from that support. So that looks decent. And then we have somewhere in this 112,993 for today. See if we get above it. We do have some other resistance. I would say that probably the bigger resistance on this one is actually 112,763. So we'll see if we can snake above that one, or if we're just kind of retesting that last kind of breakdown candle. We chop for a little bit and then we still pick out direction. But we definitely have some spots in Bitcoin where if we do break, we pull back, and Bull's doing a heck of a job right now of keeping us afloat. So I'd still be bullish Bitcoin at the moment. You got Palantir. Palantir, nice little gap and go from Friday. See what that weekly candle looks like. Weekly candle, we're just smack in the middle of last week. So anybody's guess from a weekly perspective. Other than that, I do like the fact that we are, I would say, a big support resistance. We want to stay above. If you want to be bullish, 179.06. Anything below that starts to get a little bit weaker, but a full-on retest if we're going to get it. Again, Friday was just a. Yeah, I think we're just hanging out for right now. I don't think we're doing too much on Palantir, but you do have what I would say in a longer term picture, a little bit of a bull flag. Otherwise, Thursday's candle was a gap down, was a retest candle. You just kind of hung out inside day candle, so kind of in I would say no man's land at this point. But the longer term picture that tells me bullish flag. I'd be looking to see if that thing could break bullish for the next kind of leg up on that one. Coinbase, Coinbase. I'm in it fully, fully in this one with a whole heck of a lot of contracts. So far, so good. It's got to do some crazier things. I think we got to get a little bit higher. But big resistance on this one is 319.53. Not too far away. I think that 320 would be a good psychological level at least. Otherwise, where's our last big volume candle? So the last big volume candle never really got retested on this breakdown is 341.55. To me, it looks like we just kind of ran into the support. It is a retest gap from Friday, but we're gapping above decent high volume candle from was that Thursday? We already held that support. I would think that if we pull back, this 313.01 should be a decent buy spot. Maybe we don't even get there. Maybe we get to like 313.94 on a pullback. Otherwise, yeah, any shorts that came in on that Thursday, I don't think they really panicked on Friday. I think they would have a little bit more panic today. And it's just a question if we start to get above 319.73, then I think you have room to 323.46. And then I think there's nothing else really holding this thing back until 341.55. A couple of the spots, but I don't think they're huge. So I would be a little bit more bullish, but I think probably at open. But I think this one probably retraces before we just break out bullish. Maybe I'm wrong. I would see if we get that little bit of a pullback. If we do, I think it is buy the dip for Coinbase. And again, Bitcoin looks like it's trying to survive. We'll see. Shopify. Mm-mm. Joe Dagger's in the house. What's up, Joe? We got Shopify is gap and go for today, halfway through Friday's candle. Last 1, 2, 3, 4 days. So weekly candle probably didn't look too great. Yep, bearish engulfing candle on a weekly basis. Kind of trying to hang out. I think you're probably on a weekly again standpoint. You got 144.17 would be a interesting just retest of the initial kind of breakdown. Any bulls that got trapped last week, that would give them a spot to kind of get out. Other than that, we did just put it in a new higher high. So if we could actually bounce here, it's not a from a risk reward standpoint, not a bad spot to look to buy. We've just kind of come into this little neckline of that double bottom. So decent retest spot. If we can bounce here, that would actually put us in for a new higher low on the charts as well. And we'll see if we can get that overall trend to continue. But for right now, not too much edge for today. I think if it pulls back, inside day, I almost want to see a full retest in this one, 140.47. I'm not sure if we get there, but that's where I'll be looking. And then you do have some pretty immediate resistance. The first one being 142.97, and then you got 143.53. So maybe a little bit choppy from a longer term perspective, even if you're trying to get in somewhere at open on a swing trade, your stop, I would like to see it below 136.50. That would keep me in the game, I think, for a little bit for the attempt if this thing does want to continue to go bullish with the rest of the market, just continues to buy every red candle possible. You got MU is that one looks good. That one's got some room on it. So you got a little bit of room up to 162.12, so that's gonna give us roughly about $2, $3 to the higher side. Nice little high wave candle. Again, this resistance is going to be a major one, so I would definitely be looking unless I'm in it long term or think if we could get stops up if we needed to go through this. But that 162.12 with that volume on that breakdown, that would be a really good retest spot. So I think I'd be out there. The question is, can you just make the trade work? You have $3 from open, so it's not bad. But a little bit of a gap and go. See if we get a small pullback, I think to 158.50. Otherwise, a full retest would be 157.75. I don't think I want to see it there. I think I want to see that this 158.50 holds, or it breaks down and then you start breaking out and play it on a second move. But yeah, looks good. Just that volume, that target, I think is going to be a good one, and it depends on how you can get into it. But nice gap and go for today, breaking above a high wave candle after inside from Friday. I think that looks pretty good. Lucian says TTD still needs to break out. Yep, I think I got TTD right above this. Trying. Of course, that would have been our target. We just have to wait for the weekend. Uh, so why is that always the case? But yeah, I think it still looks good. On a breakout perspective, I think the first candle for me that told me that we could break out was probably the close here. I think this is my really, really good support. Anything staying above that, I'd be bullish. I made that impossible to read that line because it is just a one big wavy, wavy line I drew. But use your imagination if that's straight. Other than that, this is your first candle that kind of broke above it, so that tells me we are starting to flip bullish. I think bears little bit panicky. Came back in. There's your retest. I think that's the bears getting out on this one, and then I think we continue higher from here. So. For today, though, it is a retest gap. You got 2 days green in a row. I do like that location at open, staying above this candle from Wednesday. I think I prefer a pullback, see if we get back into this $47 range, 46.99. That should be the retest spot. The only thing really holding us back at this point, $48.80. But I think continue to watch that one on a swing perspective. It does look like bulls starting to be a little bit strong. We got a couple shout outs for AMD. I can see why. Mm-mm-mm. I like the fact a lot that we are above 159.13. Clear double bottom. We also have a little bit of monster resistance above us as well, somewhere around this 161.40 zone. Gap and go for today, still inside. I think buying the dip. I would like to see a dip. I'm not sure how much of a dip that I do want to see though. I would say it depends on where this one opens, but that's a good looking high wave candle right above a key spot, inside day. We've been consolidating for a while. The closer I think I get by to that 159.06, I think the happier I would be. And yeah, I kind of like it as a swing. Day trade wise, I like it if it pulls back a little bit more, but I'd try to stay bullish. I'd stay bullish on this one. Good volume, perfect retest of that breakout. I think you get continuation. Where's the next volume? That one's lower. The next crazier volume. I guess we're bulls out. That would take us back to about 180. If I'm reading that correctly. Uh, big resistance, I guess, would be 163.08. We've been there already now 3 times. So we'll see if this week we're able to take that out. But so that 163, that's a tough one, but we've been there a few times. I think we could get another break. And then I think you're looking for 167.80. I think longer term you're probably looking for getting up into this 181, 182 zone. So yeah, like it. I do like it. Roblox, RBLX. Besides the fact that it is a retest gap, that one looks really good as well. I don't want to see this one fully retest. Definitely gonna get this one higher on the list. Much higher. I want to see some type of pullback. So if we could give some of that gain back at open, let some of those bulls take some gains. I think looking for a spot right around. I think it starts to look around 137.39, so it has to pull back a decent amount for me to get in. But same note, if we could get some kind of high wave candle, we could get a good setup, play some momentum. There's really nothing except for psychologically speaking, 149.57 to hold us back. Anything anything else is pretty much a free run. I don't think, yeah, going back further, there's no volume to hold us back. That looks really good. The only thing, again, maybe just be a little patient and open on this one because it is a retest from Friday. If we get all the way down to that retest spot, I kind of don't like it as much. Because now, for a day trade perspective, you have to get back above all of that kind of good volume that the market makers worked so hard to get above today. So, give me a pullback, not a huge one, and that's a really good gap for today. I do like it long. Just want to be patient on it on the entry. All right, let's see what else we got. Netflix. Netflix. Not a good start to the week for Netflix. Weekly candle, just hanging out. Nothing too crazy. You do have a little bit of support on this one, so this is a gap and go. I think I'd be patient on that short. Next target to the downside would probably take me to about 1186.84. Probably a lot of bulls there. But yeah, if this one opens and then immediately starts breaking through through 1199.45, you could probably try to play the momentum quickly to the downside. Otherwise, I think a little bit of a balance, just being that you're at support. Watch the first spot to go short. Potentially, if you want to short anything, 1203.35, and then a bigger resistance, I think would be 1208. So somewhere in that zone to the short side of things, but it is a bearish gap and go for today. Tariff news on Netflix. Yeah, I thought digital would be immune from tariffs, but no, we've already had the tariff news like a couple months ago. They started talking about tariffs. I guess it's more on the production of things than the actual distribution of the movies. Amazon, we have uh, hanging out, I think. I don't know. You have a really good resistance. If we get closes above or even intraday moves above 222.54, I kind of like it on the buy the dip at that point. We're not too far away from that now. You got about $1 to the higher side. Decent location that we're opening at, but we do have a little bit of resistance there too. And it is a retest from Friday, even though Friday was just more of an inside day. So I would discredit that. I kind of like it. Still a little bit with a lean to the bull side, but maybe a retest back to 220.30. Get yourself some better risk reward on that one. But we are gapping above the 100 as well. So I don't know. I'd kind of put it as slight lean bullish, but I would need probably some kind of a pullback on that one to get me a little more excited on it. From a swing trade perspective too, if you want to look at it that way, we have a pretty noticeable double top on Amazon. However, this was still a new higher high, so that's decent. If we could hang above this, we technically have a new higher low. So longer term looks decent. I think we just had a pile of upgrades on this one as well. Does Amazon Prime not get the same tariffs that Netflix gets? I'm a little confused. A little confused. How does only Netflix get the tariffs, but Amazon Prime, which does something very similar, they get a gap up for today? Something's up with that. I don't know. Let's see. We got Chewy. Chewy looks like it had a phenomenal day on Friday. Massive, massive move. 2 days of buying. Retest gap for the open. Probably some bulls might want to take some gains on Chewy. We'll see. I I could see a full retest of that VPOC. That would be a good spot if you get down to 39.64 and then see if we can kind of stall there. But big day on Friday. Maybe today we don't have that same run up, same momentum that we did on Friday. Maybe it's a smaller inside day, something like that. That being said, if we come back quickly for that retest into that 39.68, really your next target is about $40.67. Maybe get up to like this 40.77 today. And then an absolutely wild day, the next two big spots, 41.45, and you got 41.95. So we'll see. The fact that we had that earnings day, all of that volume, quickly took it out, got right above this 35-38 zone. And even that pullback kind of just retested the top of that candle. So for me, bullish outlook longer term looks pretty decent. Good double bottom. Otherwise, for here, I'd have to wait for some kind of pullback. Video Prime really isn't a big part of Amazon income. Not yet. Mm-mm. I'd still think that there would be some kind of factor. And then you got China popping today too. So Bob on the move, almost up to 52-week highs, very close to it. China's popping because the US government is shutting down, and now you only have the Chinese government to rule the entire world while the US government is doing nothing. I made that up, so don't write that down. I made that up completely. None of that is true. But you do have a nice little pop on this one. Was there more upgrades? Alibaba stock surges 8%, reaching 4-year high. Announced increased AI investments beyond 53 billion. The firm also launched, got you. Jefferies has increased the price target to 230 from 178, so they're getting slew of upgrades, positive catalyst all over the board, AI, everything. Exactly what you want to see when you're holding any stock. But nice gap on this one again. Still inside day from Wednesday. So a little bit of a pullback. Really, really good gap on this one. If you're looking to buy it for a trade, first spot I would be seeing if you get a little tiny pullback to 176.77, but that is a $6 move pre-market so far. A government isn't doing anything even when it's open. That's true, actually. Yeah. In fact, they figure out how to do less. They'll probably actually somehow do more being closed than when they're actually open. It's a phenomenon. I don't know. You got Oklo, nice gap up on that one. That is a gap ago. They did have some upgrades come in, I think Sunday night. Over the weekend, they had a bunch. After, don't forget, they had a big monster gap down after some some firms went to overweight or underweight on it. But now you got the reversal coming in. So watch for on this one. Big, big spot, 119.56. If you could take that out, there's nothing stopping you from getting to a 130.06. I think a lot of people will be watching this one again. Friday was just more of an inside day candle. This green candle was just a retest. We've never really fully retested. If we do, 136.76. I don't think I mean, I'm not a huge Oklo fan. I'm not buying Oklo up here for long term. I like companies that kind of make some money, but it is what it is. But I think that 130.06 zone is going to be a really good target for Oklo. And then if they could get above it, then I think we're looking at 136.76 as our next spot. Other than that, we got to clear that 119.41-ish zone first. Got to throw a Tesla out there. Yeah, Tesla with that little pre-market pop this morning, opening into, is this 52 week highs? It is. We're very close to it. That's December. Technically, no. I'm gonna make it to December for 52 weeks, but not bad. That is a retest gap if I've ever seen one. I do still have this 451.46 as my next target. If I think this one pulls back, this one still obviously wants to be bullish. Everything about it, momentum wise, doesn't matter what the news is, doesn't matter how many cars they sell or not. There is I think the government tax break. I think you got to buy your Tesla before, or your electrical vehicle before the end of this month, I believe. And if that's incorrect date, very, very soon. So that tax credit will go away soon, maybe causing a little demand, and maybe we see some better car sales. If that is the case, we'll see. But other than that, Bulls right now loving it. I don't think it's the car store really pushing it. I think it's robotics, the fact that Elon buying whatever $10 billion of stock or whatever crazy number. But it does look like it wants to go higher from here. So let's see if we get a pullback. First spot, 439.81. Second spot, 438.91. Any of those spots on a retest for day trade, I think would be a decent buy spot. Credit expires tomorrow. Yeah, so you got to buy your cars. I just saw a lot of people just sign off right now. Yeah, everyone is just running out to their nearest Tesla. Oh, it's crazy. The emergency on that one. Yeah, Boeing still looks good for today. I think inside day, if you get a pullback, watch for that support that came in on Friday. So somewhere around 221.76 on a small pullback. And I think that would be probably wise to stay bullish on Boeing. Do we take out the psychological levels? The next ones are 223.39, and then you got the high of the day, which is somewhere around 224.09-ish. It did manage to somehow still close the red day, so we're still in that trend of every day gaps up and then it closes red. We'll see if that happens today, but I'd be still leaning bullish until you break that support. SNDL. Yeah, that's a good looking gap and go. Right into some resistance, so be careful. If you could finally take out this $2.56, that might be decent. I think you're trapping a decent amount of bears. You had some volume come in, not incredible amounts of volume on that Friday candle, but you did have VPOX closing lower, the price underneath all of that. I think you would be trapping some decent amount of bears on this one. We'll find out. Right now, the market is open. So, two large Boeing orders in a few days, and they still can't have a green day. I know. It's wild. There goes SNDL. All my people at YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you're not done so already. Other than that, you guys are incredible, and I'll catch you guys